Hi everyone, my name is Kenzie Dolan and this is the New Wave of Witches, and here we are in our final meeting of the winter where we are going to be unpacking the chart of the new moon in Pisces. And this is the first meeting that we've had when we are meeting when the lunation is happening. So that is quite exciting. And I appreciate everyone that has been joining, watching the replays, sharing with their friends, asking questions, all that stuff. Uh, I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you all are getting something out of it. So let's go ahead and talk about, where we're currently at. So we are 2 days away from the spring equinox. We are still in the season of winter, if you believe it or not. It's been a long winter. And what's happening actually is that astrologers like myself are preparing for the new year. So pagans and astrologers and people that believe in, mimicking the land, they don't celebrate New Year's on December 31st and January 1st. No, 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 no. You never start anything in the dead of winter. You begin things when the earth starts to awaken. And so that's going to be happening this Friday on March 20th. And so we have one final lunation in this season of winter, and it is a new moon in Pisces. And new moons typically are new beginnings, and this is 100% a new beginning. However, there has to be some type of ending with this because Pisces is at the very end of the zodiac. It is a culmination of all 12 signs. And so Pisces, you can think of it like a sponge. We go into the water, we squeeze the sponge, we take the sponge out of the water, and we have water dripping. And so that sponge is picked up all the nonverbals in every single other season of the zodiac. And now we're at the end. And we have to let go of things that we have picked up that we no longer want to carry forward into the new astrological year. So, our job during this new moon is to tend to our garden of grief. What is it that you do not want to carry forward into the astrological new year? And so, if you were with me in my grief circle, I asked people to tend to their garden of grief, to look at what you have maybe picked up this last year or within the winter, and to weed three things from your garden of grief. Pull them out, uproot them, get rid of the rot, and then we will plant three seeds for the spring equinox, things that we want to grow into the next 12 years or 12 months, because this is the new year. It's not December 31st and January 1st. This is the new year. So if you haven't figured out what your New Year's resolutions are, tonight is the night to do it because it's the new moon in Pisces. So that's where that newness comes in. But remember, we do need to let something go because Pisces is at the very end of the zodiac. So let's go ahead and look at the chart. I'm going to pull it up. Um, and we're going to kind of run through the chart like we normally do. So you should see it now. It is a new moon in Pisces happening on March 18th, 2026, and 9:24 p.m. today. And j just the people that are here, could you just let me know that you can see the chart? That way I can know to start interpreting it for you all, because you can just throw it in the chat that you do see it. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. All right. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Elena. Okay, so here's the new moon in Pisces. We are meeting before it happens. That's really special. If you do any type of manifestation rituals, the more that you do it with people, the more powerful your ritual is. So tonight we can kind of think about, what it is it that we are letting go of, and then what is it that we are trying to plant for the next 12 months. So a new moon always happens when the sun and the moon are in the same exact sign. What else does it need to be going on for a new moon to happen? You can throw it in the chat if you know the answer. Um, but I'm just curious. Some of you might have seen some of these salons. You probably have picked up on kind of the clue that gives it away when we know it is a new moon. But not only does it need to be in the same sign, but it needs to be at the same. So I'm gonna just see if anybody wants to try it out, take a guess. Okay, no worries. So same sign and same degree. So we see that here in the chart. The sun and the moon are at 28 degrees Pisces and 27 minutes. And the minutes are really a degree of a minute for that celestial body. It is not the same as a minute here on Earth. So just keep that in the back of your head. Each celestial body goes around the sun at a different pace. So each minute for each planet or luminary or asteroid or point is going to be different, is going to alter. They're not going to be the same because time is different on every single, celestial body. But that's beside the point. We're really just focusing on this new moon in Pisces, but that's just something to know. It needs to be same time, same degree. So we're having a new moon at 28 degrees Pisces, pretty much at the tail end of Pisces. And believe it or not, but this is the fifth new moon since October that's been at the 28th degree. And sometimes the universe does like to speak to us in patterns and motifs. And so if we think back to October and we're now here in March, what is it that needs to change? And the reason why I use the word change is because five in numerology is the number of change. And then when we look at the chart, we want to look outside of the sun and the moon. Are there any planets or points or asteroids or luminaries at the 28th degree? Does anybody here in the meeting see another 28 degrees here in the chart? And I'll just say that, yeah, there is another 28 degrees. Uranus is there. Uranus is at 28 degrees Taurus. And like Pisces, Taurus is a yin sign in the zodiac. It's receptive energy. And the dualities in astrology like to support one another. So Uranus is supporting this new moon through a sextile. It's 60 degrees away from the new moon. And Uranus is the planet of change. And change can be good or bad. It can liberate us or it could shock us. So, depending on your circumstances, whatever needs to change, it could fully liberate you or it could be a shock. Hopefully, it will be the first. But going back to that idea of we had to tend to our garden of grief and thinking about maybe weeding something, uprooting it, um, putting it down, how that could actually liberate. you. Just tending to the garden, the grief, getting all the decay out of the garden. That could liberate you. That could, and we are changing something there. So that's going on. Another thing that is going on is that, okay, change has definitely happened. I mean, we made it through 12 different seasons. Pisces picks up on all of the nonverbals of every season. It's a culmination of all 12 signs. So we are different from where we were at a year ago at the spring equinox. So that's definitely changed. But on top of that, there's another thing that's going on. We are still in Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde has been happening in the sign of Pisces. And so, our minds have totally changed because what Mercury retrogrades ask us to do is to be more reflective of things. And being in the sign of Pisces, it's definitely looking at things through a different set of eyes. So when you break down Pisces, really what it comes down to is Pisces, Pisces. And the reason why I like that analogy is because it's true. Pisces sees the writing on the wall. It, um, you know, is able to tap into the five clairs, the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, the clairsentience, the claircognizance, the clairgustance, the psychic abilities. That's Pisces' forte. It's very good at doing that. And so, while we've had this Mercury retrograde, we probably have started to look at things differently. We've maybe changed the way we have interpreted things. Um, and especially if you're a person that doesn't have any Pisces placements, this has been a new adventure for you because all this activity has been happening in the part of your chart ruled by Pisces, which is a very, open space, very neutral. So, through this Mercury retrograde, something has shifted, something has changed, which is another indication that, the universe is speaking to us in signs through this is the fifth new moon at the 28th degree. Uranus is at the 28th degree. Uranus is the planet of change. And one thing that I do want to say is that the 28th degree is a Cancer degree in astrology. And it's all about nurturing something. So maybe since October you have nurtured something. And that really, if we think back to it, that it was the fall, the autumn season where we started to let things fall to the wayside, started to let things uh, you know, die and trust in the natural rhythm of nature. And then, one step further, if you take 28 and you condense it down into like for numerology purposes, it's a 10, which is all about a completion, and that can scale down to a 1, which is all about a beginning. And 2026, in the eyes of numerologists, it's all about an ending, a beginning, or both, depending on you and your circumstances. Um, so in general, this is a big new moon for Pisces placements because we have a Pisces stellium. This is a big new moon for anybody that has degrees at the 28th degree. You'll be fully activated with this new moon. Um, but once again, something is coming to a close, even though this new moon is all about new beginnings. This is the first new moon since eclipse season, so we can manifest. And this is the last lunation before the spring equinox and before Mercury turns direct, because Mercury will be turning direct 2 days later. And if you look, Mercury and the North Node are in conjunction just like the sun and the moon. This is very auspicious. Um, and I just pulled up the Mercury direct chart. I wrote about it today. And believe it or not, Mercury is going to station direct at 3:33 p.m. Eastern Daytime. You can't make that up. That's an angel number, 333. And Mercury being conjunct the North Node, that is all about when spirit and and soul merges one. It's a very angelic uh, point, very spiritual point. This is all about, past lives, um, karma, dharma, destiny. So there's something here that's very spiritual. I think that we really all need to kind of take into account, what is coming to a close, uh, but and kind of be open to a bigger thing helping, having our angels be there to help, understanding that there's a higher power. But yeah, there's a lot of water energy with this lunation. Um, I'm gonna turn it over to the chat to see if anybody wants to ask any questions about this new moon. One thing that I'll say is that, Mars is a part of this Pisces stellium. That was the one planet that I didn't touch on. But, it's interesting that it's trining Jupiter. Jupiter is about positivity, and I really believe in making a wish. This is the day after St. Patrick's Day. Uh, I would say, do a ritual to release, but also make a wish and allow a higher power to help if you need guidance on your wish. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to the chat. Does anybody want to ask any astrology related questions? It could be about the new moon in Pisces, it could be about anything else. We have a little bit of time. We have about 10 minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions. And don't be shy. Don't be shy. This is probably one of the last salons that I'll be having until the fall season too. Just wanted to put that out there. I hope people have enjoyed them. Um, they're all about kind of getting you to better train your eye with charts, understand, what the different signs bring, the difference between a new moon and a full moon. But yeah, does anybody want to talk about what they're letting go of, what they're wanting to call in? So I wrote about this new moon, and I'll just share it here. And you can find this on my website, which is rubyjaderituals.us. It's the horoscopes for this new moon. And I wrote, this new moon prods us into tending to our garden of grief. We must free the soil of weeds so the seeds of the spring equinox can blossom. Before the astrological new year, shovel, shear, and rake away anything you have picked up that you no longer want to carry forward. The new moon in Pisces is the celestial compost bin where we turn decaying matter of the past year into nutrients that will color the next 12 months. And then using your ascendant, you can look to um, your rising about where this weeding and seeding process should really take place. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat and then I'll go ahead and end the meeting. But I appreciate the people that have joined. And if you're interested in watching any of the replays, they're all on my YouTube page. So they are found there. But that is the horoscopes for the new moon in Pisces. And yeah, take time to really think about what it is that you don't want to bring forward because you can look at this new moon as like one final release before things really start to kind of ramp up. Um, so if you're tired, listen to your body, sleep more. We have 2 more days to kind of be in that energy where we can hibernate, because we're still in winter. And and then, a lot of the time, and it's true with manifestation practices, a lot of the time, if we're holding on to things that, no longer serve a purpose in our life, that can block new things that are way more aligned to come into our lives. So if you have trouble letting things go, working with the mantra, even when, now the North Node is still in Pisces, I've been saying this to a lot of people, is let go and let God. Understand that uh, when you let go of things, you create space for new things to come in. So allow that to comfort you if it's hard for you to let go. Um, but yeah, once you do the letting go, then make a wish and speak it out loud. Speak it out loud, uh, and just be very selective of your word choice because spelling is a spell in itself. Spelling, the root word of spelling is spell. So just take your time with it, be gentle. I would recommend, like a bath ritual and yeah, like if you have a dream that maybe has a message, write it down, keep a dream journal. I recommend that for people during Pisces season, which we're still in until Friday. Okay, well, thank you again, and I hope everyone has a good, um, oh, you're so welcome. I appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, it's really, really nice to see people come and get something out of this. So I'm gonna continue these for sure. But everyone take care. Everyone let go of something and truly believe in your wish and keep coming back to your wish throughout this astrological new year and see how it blossoms throughout the 12 seasons. But I'm wishing you all a lot of success and abundance, happiness, joy, all the good stuff, all the good stuff. And when you do come up against something that's hard, you have the strength to get through it. Okay. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.